Hey everyone, today's verse comes from Luke 18, verse 14, which says, I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. So here Jesus is telling the story of the Pharisee and the tax collector. And so each of them go up to the temple and to pray. And so I'll read what the Pharisee says. He says, God, I thank you that I am not like other men, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give tithes of all that I get. And then the tax collector says this, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. And so Jesus then says, the tax collector is going to be counted more righteous because he humbled himself. And he like kind of flips the idea of what most people thought of like you have to be full of yourself, and like what the world thinks is like you have to be prideful. He's like, no, instead you have to humble yourself. You have to serve others. That's how you're counted as righteous. When you have faith and faith enough to humble yourself and faith like Jesus, then and you have characteristics of Jesus, then you are counted as righteous. Same thing that we see with Abraham. Abraham is not counted righteous because of his works, but he's counted righteous because of his faith. The Pharisee who thinks that his works are going to save him and make him righteous, he's wrong. He's counted. It's said he's counted less justified than the tax collector, who is working in an unrighteous position. The tax collector was an unrighteous job. It was not a righteous job, but instead he's counted more righteous. He's counted justified with God because he humbled himself. He came to God, not exalting himself, but exalting God and praising God. And so this verse shows us that if we want to be justified with God, if we want to be counted righteous like Abraham and like all these other Old Testament examples, we need to have faith, and our faith needs to humble ourselves before others, and we need to live out the characteristics that Jesus does, where we're serving others, when we're putting others before us. Humility is so important to living out how Jesus lived, and it's a good reminder that we should be reminding ourselves daily is to humble ourselves that day and serve others. Have a wonderful day, guys. Jesus loves you all so much.